very nicely disguised. Can he get any action? The blinds have gone up, so he's now got 11 big blinds. Yeah, he's probably trying to decide whether to put in a min raise or whether to just shove and make it look weaker. He's going to put in a min raise, and hopefully someone will see that as weak from his point of view. OMX does not take the bait, and Palaku, who we've seen make some pretty tight plays, will just call here. So good so far for Semente, and that's a fun flop, isn't it? Palaku with some equity in it. Obviously he doesn't know he's up against a set. Semente with the 3 ladies. And also with 4.5 million behind, 2.5 million in the middle. So I'm not sure how he'll view this. There are a lot of cards that can come on the turn which will kill his action a little bit. But the stacks are so short. He makes a tiny bet, presumably planning on putting the rest of it in on the turn. Does get the call from Palaku. And, well, it's funny how it goes, isn't it? Palaku makes a questionable call before the flop, and so far, it's worked like a charm. You've got to know when you're going to make your straight. He leads into Semente. You've got to feel sorry for Semente right now. He'll think that this is his dream come true. Perhaps there'll be that little bit of him dying inside, thinking, oh no, he hasn't, has he? Why would he suddenly bet like that? He's been playing so tight. There's nothing Semente can do here. He's got to put his money in, of course. He should actually be delighted to get his money until he sees the cards. Palaku with the straight. Lots of cards that Semente can catch. Pair the board, he shouts. We can't get it done for you, I'm afraid. So Semente from Spain, very unlucky to get his set cracked there. And he will have to be content with 6th place. $57,000 was his in the chop. And we're 5-handed. And an interesting hand, 5-handed as well. Lots of playable hands out there. It starts with LOL opening under the gun with Ace Queen. Dr. Greenish with the other 2 players in the pot with pretty short effective stacks will be delighted to get action with pocket 10s here. He'll make the 3-bet. And I'd have thought Pokenoid could just fold this, which he does do. I don't think LOL 1K12 will be folding. No, in goes his money. Dr. Greenish is going to call, and we'll have our biggest pot so far. 17 million in it, there or thereabouts. LOL is the all-in player. And does have the Queen of Spades, so an interesting flop. We're almost flipping here. And now there's some chop outs as well. Dr. Greenish trying to get these 10s home. It's tough to do, but he makes it. That's a lot of stuff to fade on that river. Cards that would have split the pot, cards that would have given it to LOL. But he does get his 10s home, and that's a huge pot. Knocks out LOL 1K12 from the Ukraine in 5th spot. $73,900 for him. Makes Dr. Greenish the big chip leader as we go into 4-handed action. Pokenoida with... what is that about? Well, exactly 15 big blinds and an ace in the small blind. I read somewhere you're supposed to shove here. He makes a small raise, which does give OMX options. Potentially could flat call, could decide to do that. Does put Pokenoida to the test. Now, I don't think he should ever be raise folding here, and he's not. May actually have been happy to see OMX make that move, I don't know. But Pokenoida's the favourite here. He is the all-in player. Big pot for both of them. And Pokenoida catches the flop. His ace is vulnerable now. Only 2 straight cards for OMX. That 9 doesn't help. The pot goes over to Pokenoida. Big double up for him. OMX is now the short stack. Pokenoida up into 2nd.
Growing up on the circuit, everyone wanted to offer me advice. When to bet, when to fold, when to raise, what to wear, what to eat. But there was one piece of advice that took me to a new level.
Daniel, don't do anything stupid.
At PokerStars.com, there's a tournament starting every second. Develop your game at the world's largest poker site.
Here is your online poker show free roll password. It's BLOM, B-L-O-M, BLOM, as in Victor. June the 30th at 3:35 Eastern Standard Time. That one kicks off. Lots of luck in it. I hope you get to be here where these 4 players contest big chunks of money and the Sunday Million title. OMX is our short stack, and he would chip up over the next few hands. Very experienced player, OMX. He's won the nightly 100 grand on Stars, so obviously a very strong player. Him and Dr. Greenish, both with good pedigrees, but stack size is what matters right now, and OMX is up against it. Look at this, another classic race on this final table. Pokenoida will shove. OMX will be delighted to call, and probably a little bit disappointed he's up against such a strong hand. Needs these 10s to come home to stay alive in this one. And the king catches on the flop. Nice card for Pokenoida. Ace makes it look slightly prettier. OMX needs to find a 10 ball, and the 7 doesn't help. So Pokenoida turns out to be OMX's nemesis, and the Mexican player will take 4th place to add to his nightly 100 grand title. And $93,700 for him leaves us 3-handed. And you'll notice we've only played 42 hands this final table. It's been fast and furious, the final of the million this week. Great spot for Pokenoida. We've seen this 3 or 4 times at this final table. Big hands on the button. And, well, the good news for Pokenoida is that Dr. Greenish has a bit of a hand, and he will 3-bet it. Now, does Pokenoida move in here? Does he make a small 4-bet? Does he even flat call to try and trap on the flop or something fancy like that? Does have options. You know Dr. Greenish is an aggressive player. How does he think he can best get paid? Such a great position to be in. And he will basically just click it back. It is the small 4-bet. Leaves Dr. Greenish room to do something rash and come over the top. Based on his hand, Dr. Greenish is folding here, but if he thinks the Pokenoida is making a move, he may come back, but no, does do the decent thing and lays down the Queen Jack. Pokenoida will be slightly frustrated. He couldn't get more out of that. Hand 43 sees Palaku fold on the button. Dr. Greenish. And Pokenoida will go at it once again in the blinds. Dr. Greenish raising. Pokenoida just flat calls, so we'll see a flop. Quite a lot of chips behind for these two as well, so this could be interesting. Not too much for either of them. 9 high rules the day. Everyone's got a pair of 10s. I mean, I've got a pair of 10s. We've all got one, really. This one's going to be about who wants it most. Or something. Dr. Greenish can fire away at this flop, I think. Pokenoida with the flush draw. Interesting one. Because he does have a flush draw, but if he doesn't hit on the turn, what does he do? If Dr. Greenish fires again here, it's really difficult for Pokenoida to continue. Dr. Greenish contemplating the double barrel, but decides to shut it down. Decides he's not getting called on that flop very often. Unless his opponent does have a hand. Pokenoida will bet now. And that's probably the end of it. Unless Dr. Greenish gets stubborn, nothing he can do. And Pokenoida getting the better of these encounters. First time with the cards, the second time without them. He's our new chip leader. This is hand 44. And the good doctor will open the button. Palaku with a suited ace will decide now is the time to shove, or nearly shove. He's playing in binary, which is one way to go. It works. It works. Maybe this will catch on. Just a lot of round numbers and a lot of ones. Palaku with a nice timing takes one down. Trying to get back into this. I mean, he is in it. 13 million. Even though he's the short stack, he has a stack that can do huge damage to the other two, so definitely still involved. Well, he's going to struggle to do damage here because he's run into a big hand. Plaku makes the big shove from the small blind. Gets snapped off by Dr. Greenish, who is almost a 2-to-1 favourite to win this one. And Plaku is the all-in player, so needs to get lucky here or his adventure is over. Good flop for Dr. Greenish. No troublesome draws here. And Plaku needs to catch the river, or we're going to be heads up, and that's what happens. Plaku hits the rail. Third spot for the Brazilian, $70,900 for him. Dr. Greenish takes another sizable pot, and we'll play heads up poker for the Sunday Million title. Dr. Greenish with the advantage. Just about a 12 million chip lead at the start of things. And Pokernoid is going to set his stall out. Immediate 3-bet with junk for him. Figures if I do it early, it's got a bit more credibility. And he does get it through. So this could be interesting. We know what a good player Dr. Greenish is. Pokernoida, though, not going to go down without a fight. And 50 of the final table. And the Doctor opens 10-9. Bad aces out of position are never too much fun. Even heads up. Pokernoid will 3-bet it. And Dr. Greenish has been 3-bet a lot by this player. This is the third or fourth time that we've seen. There comes a point. ... Dr. Greenish is thinking about it, and there you go. The 4-bet bluff. He wasn't going to be 3-bet forever. And what does Pokernoida make of that? Oh, he flat calls, which is a funny one. And makes a pair. I'm not sure what his plan is, so I'm watching with the rest of you. Not sure what my plan would be if I flat called a 4-bet with that hand. And what do you do on this flop? He's kind of got some of it. But if Dr. Greenish has got a big hand, he's, you know, could be crushed. He's being ace-king. And he will flat call again. Well, he does have the best hand. So this plan may well work because at some point Dr. Greenish has got to give him credit. And that 6 doesn't look like a card that's going to get, like, say Pokernoida had, I don't know, 7s or 8s or something like that. Obviously that 6 is not going to scare him. I don't think Dr. Greenish can for a moment put him on ace-3. And he does check, hoping to get lucky on the river. The river doesn't help anybody. I think Pokernoida is going to get, well, I was going to say get lucky. Maybe it's genius. I think he's going to win the pot, is what I'm saying. Don't think Dr. Greenish can check the turn and now bluff the river. He can't. And I think he might be a little bit annoyed when he sees Pokernoida's hand. Either he got owned or he got unlucky. You can be the judge of that one. But it means we've got a new chip leader. Pokernoida now with a big advantage over Dr. Greenish. And 2 decent hands here in hand 51. Dr. Greenish is all in. Well, this is dream stuff for Pokernoida. He gets to snap call with ace-king. And we'll also see he's got the dominating hand. Unless Dr. Greenish gets lucky, this one's over. Well, Pokernoida looks like he has this just about wrapped up. He does have the ace of clubs, and as well as top pair. And Dr. Greenish can only catch a jack, and that's not going to do it. So Pokernoida, with the big reversal in those 2 hands, eliminates Dr. Greenish. The decisive pot coming 1 hand earlier. And a wham-bam, thank you, and good night, everybody. Final table, 51 hands to find a winner. And that winner is Pokernoida from the Netherlands. $81,400 for him and the Sunday Million title. Confirmation of the payouts and that Dr. Greenish has the last laugh, taking home the most money when they did the deal, $128,000 for him. Hope you've enjoyed the Sunday Million final table. There'll be another one this time next week. More highlights from the most exciting regular tournament on the planet. For everybody at POKERSTARS.tv, I'm Nick Wealthall. I'll catch you very soon.